What's going on, Fin fans? It is your boy Dillon, and real quick, first before I get into things, I just want to apologize if I seem a little disheveled today. Truth be told, I'm having a pretty awful mental health day, and so I'm just, I'm trying my best. I'm doing my best though to, persevere and push through, so I can make the content that I need to make and the content that you guys deserve. And so yeah, on that pleasant note, let's go ahead and just jump right into what will be my preview video for the Miami Dolphins versus Buffalo Bills at Hard Rock Stadium this Sunday night. Obviously, it's the Week 18 matchup. It's the final game of the season, the regular season, that is, and then we will be moving into the playoffs, and there is a lot at stake. As we know, this game is going to decide the division. Whoever comes out on top will be not only the division leader, and, obviously the AFC East champion, win the crown, all that good stuff, but they will also be the number 2 seed, and then the loser will most likely be relegated to the 6th seed. However, as we have already discussed, and in my video yesterday, my rooting guide, if you hadn't seen that one, if the Jags and the Steelers also win, then the Bills would actually be eliminated. So if we beat the Bills and the Steelers and Jags both win, then the Bills would actually be eliminated from playoff contention, which would be fabulous. But for us, obviously, we'll be watching those games. And in fact, one of those games is on tomorrow. I think it's the Steelers-Ravens game. And, as we talked, you would think that the Ravens are going to, run away with that one, but maybe not. Lamar Jackson's not playing. They're probably going to be resting a lot of starters. Obviously, Pittsburgh has a lot to play for, including the playoffs and making it to the playoffs. So I think there's a damn decent chance that Pittsburgh actually gets that one, and that one's the early game tomorrow. And then besides that, though, the Jags game is on Sunday. But that's a 10 a.m. game or 1 p.m. Eastern game for the Sunday slate. And then we have the Sunday night game. So there you have it. Anyway, so there's a lot riding on this game. Obviously, there's a lot going into it. But yeah, so let's go ahead and just take a look at the injuries. Real quick, let's just take a look at the Bills. Obviously, you would expect everybody to be there. The only guy that's listed as questionable is Mitch Morse, but that was with an illness. Who knows? It's possible he could miss, but probably not likely. I wouldn't expect him to. Stephon Diggs with a vet rest day, whatever, no worries. Damar Hamlin, limited. Everybody else was basically full for the most part throughout the week, but Josh Allen with a neck and a right finger. So that's interesting. Defensive end, Leonard Floyd with rib and rest. Micah Hyde and neck, and then Von Miller with rest, but no big deal. So obviously they're going to be at full strength, or at least so far as, full strength can be, because obviously they did lose guys throughout the season, much like, a lot of other teams, and much like us, lost a handful of guys for the season. So there is that. For the Dolphins, obviously we know Bradley Chubb is out. He's out for the remainder of the season with the torn ACL. Super unfortunate, but it is what it is. Obviously, that's why we have the depth that we do, including guys like, AVG and Melvin Ingram, and so on and so forth. So, and Emmanuel Ogbah, right? So we have guys there that, are expected to fill in. Obviously, Xavier Howard, as you can see, is also listed as out, so that is unfortunate. However, I will say that the only time we've seen Fangio, actually, I know a lot of people are frustrated with him, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's super difficult for me to really, because look, I mean, he knows way more football than I ever will. At the end of the day, our defense is still in top 10. We did drop a little bit, obviously. I think we were the number 4 overall defense, and I think now we're like the number 9 overall defense. So we did drop a few spots after that beatdown, and in Baltimore, but we still have a top 10 defense, and for the most part, they've been spectacular all year. They're great in a lot of different categories, so, it's hard to really argue with him. And especially because even with my limited football knowledge, I do understand that having a corner shadow a receiver like that definitely changes the dynamics of how he wants to run his defense. And generally speaking, he doesn't want to do that because as a whole, I feel like, and he's probably right, that it's a bigger detriment in the grand scheme of things. But, I don't know, whatever. All I'm saying is that the one time we've actually seen him shadow a receiver or have Ramsey shadow a receiver was when Howard was out a couple games ago. Well, now Howard is going to be out, so it will be interesting to see if he does shadow Stephon Diggs. And frankly, if I'm keeping it real, I would like to see that happen because I want us to win this game. I think we will win this game. But I think it'll be a tough fight. I mean, obviously they're fighting for their playoffs. It's a division rival. Obviously it's down in Miami though, so that is good for us. But I mean, it's not going to be an easy game. But anyway, so Jerome Baker, Raheem Mostert, and Jalen Waddle were all listed as questionable. Although I would think Mostert should be good to go. I'm guessing. But again, I don't know. Waddle was, there's clips and reports and stuff on, Twitter. He was looking good in practice for Waddle. So we'll see. Jerome Baker could be good to go. I don't know. Hopefully, obviously everybody else, and I mean, it's still a lengthy list, but everybody else doesn't have a designation and was full participation Friday. So just as you can expect, guys are banged up at this time of year. Achane, Armstead, Cotton, Eichenberg, Hill. Obviously Hill missed though Thursday because of the fire that happened at his house, which was super unfortunate. Holland, Hunt, Jackson, David Long is now on there. Ramsey, Duke Riley, Sealer, Tua, and Mike White. So, but everybody's good to go. And look, there's only a handful of games left. If we make it to the Super Bowl, then there's one this week, then wild card, then divisional, then conference championship, and then Super Bowl. So there'll be 5 games left. If and when we make it that far, and I still think that we can. It's definitely going to be a tough challenge and a hard road ahead of us, but I still think the Dolphins are capable of doing it. So there you have it. That's the injury report. Let's just real quick run through all of these statistics. So obviously you could see Miami Dolphins are still top of the league offensively, still middle of the pack or tops of the league in most defensive statistics overall. And then same thing goes for rushing statistics. We're still obviously very good in that department defensively and also offensively. I mean, obviously at this point in the season, you basically are who you are and not really much changes, but still tops of the league offensively passing wise and middle of the pack or so, or somewhere in the tops of the league in, sack percentage there, number 3 in the league. For most of the statistics, right? So like I said, I mean, not much has changed and really nothing's going to change at this point. Obviously, after this game, it's all just going to be set in stone, and that's what it is. That's what it's going to be for the season, right? Those will be our season statistics. So, because it'll be wrapped up, and then, they'll obviously track and log things within the playoffs and stuff too. But here you go, kicking, turnover, penalty, and time of possession statistics for the Dolphins. Obviously, the Buffalo Bills are a team that is ranked in the tops of the league in all, pretty much all categories as well. Similar to us, offensively, defensively, even with their injuries, they're still a good team. And they've always been a good team, but, they've always been up and down throughout the season. I mean, again, teams are who they are at this point, right? They struggled against the Chargers and, and I've actually said it recently that I feel like the Bills are becoming the Dolphins of old, where they're just destined to be a middle of the road team that's fighting for the playoffs. And, now we'll have to wait and see how things go over the next few years. And obviously we actually still even have to wait and see what happens after this game because, that could be proven wrong even just as soon as this week if the Bills end up winning and recapture the division and so on and so forth. But if the Dolphins end up winning and then, this week, when we end up winning this week and claim the division for the first time since 2008, then I think, that could be the first step and to proving what I just said being correct. Now, obviously, there would still be a lot of things to accomplish over the next few years and for the rest of this season, i.e., taking that number 2 seed that we would earn and those 2 home playoff games and winning those games. You know what I'm saying? Getting ourselves to the AFC Championship round. At least winning one of those fucking games, right? So anyway, but you get what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a tough matchup, division rival, etc. But I do think we are going to split. I do think we're going to get the win. Split as in the season series, right, between them. But yeah, rushing, and they've gotten a lot better in the rushing department. So top 10 in a lot of their offensive rushing categories since they started using James Cook a lot more. But obviously Allen runs a lot too, or not necessarily a lot, but he does run and can obviously extend the play with his legs. But he does also turn the ball over quite a bit. So there will be opportunities for that too, I'm sure. Passing statistics, they're, mostly middle of the pack, some kind of back end, some kind of top end. Same thing goes for the defensive statistics. And then, kicking, turnover, penalty, and time of possession for them as well. Yeah. So, look, I mean, there's not much left to be said, honestly. I mean, I pretty much said it all. It's going to be tough. Look, it's going to be, I mean, starting a couple weeks ago against the Cowboys, I mean, it's basically the same thing. It's December and now January football. It's getting into the playoffs. You're going to have to start playing. I mean, since the Cowboys game, it's going to be nothing but good teams, nothing but playoff teams. It's going to be gritty. You're going to have to win in ways that are not necessarily flashy and high flying. They did that obviously against the Cowboys, but then, had some issues this past week against the Ravens. So, looking to bounce back. Now they haven't lost 2 games in a row all season. They've been definitely very good at bouncing back. And I expect them to. I expect them to get the win. Obviously, on offense, we're going to need to be able to run the ball, and frankly, I mean, that's where that's always the cliche starting point for offenses is run the ball, and same thing for defense. Stop the run, whatever. But I mean, it holds true. And again, it's just one of those things that, you need to be able to do in December, January football, as well as playoff football, right? So, run the ball. Obviously, definitely got to protect Tua. I think Robert Hunt is looking to come back. Actually, was he even on that? Man, give me a second. Was Robert? Oh yeah, he was still on there, but he was a full participant, and he might actually be good to go. So that would be great. I mean, we could end up having Armstead, Cotton, Eichenberg, Hunt, and Jackson. So, I mean, we could have our line basically about as full strength as has, been in like the past 2 months or some shit. I don't even know. But yeah, so that's good. We'll see if Waddle plays. I think Mostert's going to play. But even if not, look, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Injuries, guys got to step up, run the ball, protect Tua, play clean, efficient football. Don't turn the ball over. Make sure you have a good bounce back like you have all season long when you've come off a loss. Continue to play well at home. And we've only lost 1 game at home, and that was kind of, fluky, I think. The one time where we really stubbed our toe, especially against a lesser opponent, right? So, I mean, we definitely have a lot of things going in our favor and a lot of reason for sure to believe that we can and will win this game. I think it'll be close, though. I think it'll be tough. They do have a good defense. I'm not super worried about it, though. I think at home we'll be able to handle it. And, as far as their offense goes, sure, they have definitely been doing better since Joe Brady has come in, but Josh Allen is Josh Allen. So you're going to have to worry about him extending plays, scrambling with his legs, those sorts of things. However, the Dolphins have actually been damn good this year, surprisingly enough, because we have struggled with that at limiting the impact that running mobile quarterbacks have had with their legs. So that has been good. And I would expect them to continue that. But they got to contain James Cook, which I feel pretty good about because, again, we've been damn good against the run all year, and I don't see why that's going to stop just all of a sudden. Aside from the one game it wasn't the fact was week 1 against the Chargers. But since then, and I don't expect it to stop all of a sudden in week 18. And then, look, you put Ramsey on Diggs, and then I like our chances against the rest of that offense. I mean, Gabe Davis and, Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, I guess, and just whatever. I mean, they got some guys and they're solid players, but I like our chances on defense, even with, Howard being out, and perhaps Baker will be back in. And obviously we got Holland back and Elliott's back there and so on and so forth. So I like our chances. I do think it'll be a tough battle. I think it'll be a pretty close battle. Score prediction, I guess I'll go with, I actually hadn't really thought about it until just this moment. I think there'll be a fair amount of points put up. I think both offenses will end up having success. I think defenses will make plays, and I think it'll stay something around like mid to high 20s, maybe low 30s. So let's say I'm obviously predicting a Dolphins win here. So let's go. Although, it's certainly possible that they could get the win, just being honest and keeping it real. But I think they're going to come out. I think they're going to bounce back from last week. I think they're humble, hungry, mad, pissed, all those sorts of things, right? And I think they understand and know what is on the line here, and they're going to go out and they're going to take it. So let's say 28-24 Dolphins. How about that? 28-24 Dolphins, something along those lines. And honestly, as far as I'm concerned, I don't care how they do it. Just get the win. Just get the win, get the win, get the win. And then, like I said, hopefully, if we get a couple other favorable results between tomorrow and the early slate of games on Sunday, maybe we could end up actually even seeing a situation where the Bills don't make it at all, and then it'll be super fabulous because then we get to see our division rival ejected in a very similar fashion to how we've been ejected over the years, right? And that's part of why I said that, if the Dolphins end up, when they end up pulling this out on Sunday, and if we get some favorable results from the Steelers-Ravens game, and I can't remember who Jacksonville plays off the top of my head, but I think, Tennessee, I think it's Tennessee, and I'm pretty sure Jacksonville will win that game. So yeah, if we get those favorable results in addition to our W on Sunday, trying to get my words out here, then the Bills won't even be in the playoffs, and it'll be a beautiful thing. Not only will we have won the division and the AFC East crown, but they will be ejected. Very similar to, like I said, how Dolphins fans. And so that could be the first step into proving that correct, that theory correct. Now, it's just the theory right now because it definitely still has to be proven. But I can certainly see, based off of how, the past few years and as well as this year, the way it's played out, I could see this potentially being a turning point in that direction. So anyway, with that, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Sorry that I'm, a downer at times and whatever. I try not to be. I try to keep my head up. it's a lot of things going on, and my life's kind of crumbling around me. So it's hard for me to keep myself upbeat and all that stuff, but I am trying, and I appreciate anybody who does drop comments, hits the like button, hits the subscribe button, is trying to help me grow the channel and all that good stuff. I love you guys, appreciate you guys, and fins up as always, all day, every day. Let's get this win and the crown of the AFC East. Let's go.
7 seconds left. Tannehill will throw it. And this will end it after the shovel. Miami runs around, circling, on the go. Gronkowski did not mean to go. Touchdown! Oh, can you pray? Oh, miracle! Miraculous in Miami. Stills to Parker to Drake. And they held off the field. What has taken place here in South Florida. The Dolphins have done it. They keep their season alive. 69 yards. Wow. Pure joy. Miami wins it.